Hi everybody, I'm back again to read another story called I Love You, Grandma. And actually inside it has special instructions. So you can take out some paper and some pencils and you could write a special letter to your grandma telling her how much you love her. Then you could put it in an envelope and go and put it in her letterbox. That would really make her day, I'm sure. Little Bear and Grandma were eating breakfast. Grandma, asked Little Bear, why do I have such a big nose? To help you find food, Grandma told him. But I just looked around and I found these berries, he said. Ah, said Grandma, food isn't always that easy to find. So Grandma led Little Bear down to the river. Can you see anything to eat? She asked. Little Bear shook his head. Can you smell anything? She asked him. Food, he said. Then use your nose to find it, Grandma told him. Little Bear followed his nose to some stones on the riverbank. He turned one over. A fish, he laughed. Yum. Dinner, smiled Grandma. Well done, Little Bear. I love you, Grandma, Little Bear whispered in her ear. Grandma, he said suddenly, why do I have such sharp claws? To help you find food, she said. But you told me that I have my nose for that. Aha, said Grandma. Sometimes your nose leads you to food, but you still have to work to get at it. So she took Little Bear into the woods. Sniff the air, she reminded him. So Little Bear started to follow his nose. He stopped at a fallen tree. I can smell food, he said. I can't see it, but I know it's there. You need to use your claws, Grandma said. Little Bear dug his sharp claws into the bark. He broke off a small piece. Ah, ants, he laughed. Delicious. Well, that's lunch, said Grandma. Well done, Little Bear. I love you, Grandma, said Little Bear. Grandma, he asked again, why do I have such a long tongue? Well, that's to help you find food, Grandma said. But you told me I have my nose and my claws to do that. Well, sometimes the best food is hard to catch, said Grandma. She took Little Bear into a clearing. Why don't you smell the air, said Grandma. So he sniffed hard, he lifted his nose, and he said, food, I can smell food. There was a huge bee's nest from a branch above him. I know what to do. Look at me, he called. He hooked the nest with his sharp claws. He lifted it down and opened it up. Honey, he smiled. Well, that's supper, said Grandma. But Little Bear's big claws couldn't reach the food. Oh no. So what are you going to do now? She asked him. I'll use my long tongue, laughed Little Bear, and that's just what he did. Brilliant, Little Bear, laughed Grandma. How do you know so many things, Grandma? He asked suddenly. That's easy, Grandma smiled. When I was small, I was curious, just like you. You ask so many questions, you'll soon know lots of things too. As she hugged Little Bear tight. Do you know I love you, Grandma? I do, she said, and she stroked Little Bear's sticky head. And you know I love you too, she said. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. It's all about loving your special grandmas. Thanks. See ya.